The Legislature, the Executive and the Judiciary today convened for the Gambia's first Commonwealth Latimer House Principals Dialogue Conference, describing it as a landmark step in strengthening constitutional democracy, rule of law and cooperation among the three arms of government. Alusise reports.
Convened under the auspices of the Office of the Clerk of the National Assembly, the three-day conference, officially opened by President Adama Barrow, marks the first Commonwealth Latimer House Principals Dialogue held in the Gambia. The event brings together ministers, legal practitioners and lawmakers to examine how the internationally recognized governance principles can be effectively implemented in the Gambia. The Latimer House Principles is described as one of the Commonwealth's most authoritative framework for democratic governance, promoting institutional independence alongside cooperation. Khalifa Emembai, the Clerk of the National Assembly, described the conference as a defining moment in the country's constitutional development.
The separation of powers should never be interpreted as institutional isolation, but rather it requires mutual respect, constitutional restraint, constructive engagement, and fidelity to the rule of law.
The conference also received a goodwill message from the Commonwealth Secretary General Sally Boche, who joined virtually. She said the Latimer House principles remain central to strengthening democracy, institutional independence, and public confidence across Commonwealth member states, urging participants to translate discussions into practical reforms.
Democracy is strengthened when power is balanced, institutions are independent, and every arm of the state fulfills its constitutional responsibilities without fear or favor.
Delivering an overview of the principles, Usman Jame Esquire said the Latimer House principles are anchored on judicial independence, parliamentary autonomy, accountability, and transparency.
The Latimer House principles also enjoin all public officials and branches of government to maintain high standards of ethical performance of their duties and responsibilities.
Chief Justice Hassan B. Jallow and Speaker of Parliament Fabakary Tombong Jatta both stressed that constitutional democracy depends on independent institutions that work together within their respective mandates.
The health of any constitutional democracy is measured not by the dominance of one institution over another, but by the extent to which all the institutions operate within the limits of the Constitution.
Institutional independence is not intended to foster isolation or confrontation. Rather, it exists to ensure that each organ performs its constitutional responsibilities without fear or favor, while respecting the legitimate constitutional rule of the others.
President Barrow reaffirmed his government's commitment to constitutionalism, accountability, and democratic reforms.
The strength of our nation lies not in the power of one branch of government, but in the balance among all three, namely the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary.
He said the Gambia's democratic transition since 2017 reflects the country's determination to rebuild institutions, protect fundamental freedoms, and entrench the rule of law after decades of authoritarian rule.
As we will deliberate over the next 3 days, let us do so with a sincere spirit of openness and a shared vision of a democratic Gambia that stands as a beacon of good governance within the Commonwealth.
The conference is expected to conclude with practical recommendation and a national action plan to strengthen collaboration among the three arms of government in line with the Commonwealth Latimer House principles. Reporting for QTV News, I am Alusise.